Hey guys, this is Kent Davis. I'm the managing director of Panama Equity Real Estate, and I first came here in 2007. At the time, I was living in Atlanta, Georgia, and I wanted to make the move down to somewhere in Latin America. So, hopped in an airplane, one-way ticket, came down, and I started working for a real estate company. 9 months later, I got fired. Why? Because I wrote a report that you can read about. It's still online. It's called Blood in the Streets, Everything That's Wrong with Real Estate Agents and Why I'm One of Them. I thought it would be a good idea to let people know about what to expect when they came down to Panama based on what I had seen. Well, my bosses didn't really like it, so they canned me. That's okay. I started my own company, and 12 years later, here we are. So today I'm going to tell you about what to expect for the Panama real estate market in general. So first of all, what you'll probably notice is there's no MLS. Now, I say that, but there actually is an MLS, although it probably represents anywhere from 10 to 15% of the total real estate available for sale at any one time. It's a good website, but it's not the website. So if you want to really get a comprehensive look on what's for sale, you're going to have to go to 3 different websites. MLS is one of them, Compra Alquile or Encuentro 24. So there you'll get, between those 3, let's call it about 98% of the real estate available. Now, that's all over the country, and that is, for the most part, completely unregulated. MLS is regulated. The other 2 websites are not. Now, if you visit our website, panamaequity.com, at any one time we'll have about 400 listings published. Some listings we take, some listings we don't. Some developers we work with, some developers we don't. So what else can I tell you about the real estate market? It's hard to find statistics. We publish reports. We try to do them once a month to give people an idea about what's going on with prices. So let's talk about that today. We are in August 2020, and right now this is almost going on month 5 of quarantine. What's the quarantine look like in Panama? Well, I can tell you that we have one of the strictest quarantines in the world. Is it working? Kind of. Our new cases have plateaued at about 1,000 per day, but that's not fantastic considering we've got about 4.5 million people. But it is what it is. How does that affect the real estate market? Well, one thing for sure is rents in the city have dropped by about 20%. And I think that there's more drops to come because people who are renting properties are calling their landlords and saying, Mr. Landlord, I need a reduction in the rent because either I lost my job or my wages have been reduced or my spouse has a similar situation. So what does that mean? That means that either current landlords are dropping their price or they're refusing to drop their price, and tenants are giving 30 days notice and finding someone who will drop their price. So that inevitably affects the market on the rental side in the city. We're seeing about 20% rental decrease based on the last 5 months. So comparing to February. What about prices? Well, there are absolutely some deals on the market right now, and those are more a function of people who need cash to either support their business or they just need to unload their property. One caveat to the Panama real estate market that is important that people know is generally a lot of these properties have either very low mortgages or no mortgage at all, which means that people have a little bit less pressure, so the market adjusts a little bit slower. What's to come in the next quarter, in the next year? Well, Panama, according to a Bank of America report and general consensus in the financial community, has done a pretty decent job shouldering the burden of support for both citizens and business in terms of bringing on new debt. So the way governments work is from a real estate guy who is not necessarily an expert. What I understand is that governments bring on debt by either selling bonds or however else they generate money, and then they deploy it into the economy. So that is in the form of either small business loans, subsidies, or handouts, right? And of course, that money also gets deployed for public health support projects. And Panama, compared to the rest of Latin America, that's where I was going with this, has done a pretty decent job because we started early trying to get that money and we deployed it quickly. Now, right now, today, August 2020, everybody around the world is still saying, oh my gosh, what's gonna happen? Well, I for one think, based on what I've read, that yes, it is going to be and has been a pretty rough ride leading up to right now. And it's not gonna get fixed tomorrow. However, first quarter of next year, things could start to get interesting again as economies sort of stabilize and certain economies start to pick up based on what they did 6 months ago, i.e. what they started doing back in February when the virus made headlines and things started getting real. So I, for one, think that Panama should be able to keep its head above the water by Q1 of 2021. In the meantime, it's going to be tricky. There's going to be deals to be had based on individual sellers, but we're not seeing an across-the-board price reduction on for sale properties yet. I think that we're starting to see in a small way from individual cases, like I mentioned, and that may or may not affect the overall market depending on how motivated people really are. And that's where you want to get linked up with an agent like us who understands individual profiles, who has been watching certain listings, whether in-house listings or listings with other brokers, and knows of those situations, because you can't really time the bottom of the market. It's almost impossible. The idea is to hedge yourself, right? To get in low enough, plan on market correction. Maybe it's a little bit further or maybe it picks up again. That's the idea. To get in below, if you can, replacement cost. And right now, replacement cost for a brand new 100-meter, 2-bedroom, oceanfront apartment, if you wanted to buy the land and build it again, well, first of all, it'll take you anywhere from 3 to 4 years to build again, right? You buy the land and build up. But basically, developers who have delivered in the last 5 years have had a per square meter replacement cost, i.e. what it cost them to build with the land factored in, of between high-end $1,600 to about $2,000 a meter. That is what it costs to rebuild, or it's traditionally cost to rebuild based on materials, labor, and land. So that's a good metric to use if you're looking for a deal. Watch hotel rates, watch occupancy and vacancy rates for hotels is what I was trying to say. Tourism is very important right now. Tourism is completely shut off because our airport is shut off. So keep an eye out, guys. Panama still has a bright future. Panama's remained very safe. Panama has remained very stable, especially compared to other parts of the region. And Panama has always been very popular with immigrants from around the region, whether that's Venezuela, Colombia, other parts of Central America. So when things are bad there, Panama starts lifting up. And the last point I'll leave you guys with is watch what happens to the US dollar. Because as the US dollar comes up, Panama directly, proportionately, real estate prices start to, or real estate activity starts to increase. And obviously when there's increased demand, steady supply, that means prices go up, which means appreciation. So keep an eye on the dollar, keep an eye on tourism, and watch those rents. That's my advice. And if you like the video, make sure to subscribe. Shoot us a message. We have been doing this since 2007. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.